That was too far. He took it too far. He didn't have to do that.
Turner, I am disgusted.
It is out of respect for you. It is out of love.
That is not out of respect.
Yes, it is.
No, that is not respect.
Yes, it is.
The past is the past. Now it's time to regroup and charge forward to the end of this game.
This is for you, Michael.
This is for you, Michael. That's right. Sorry, it is a late night here on a Sunday night, September 11th, 2022. Week 10 nominations. Right, as we're down to the final 5 in Big Brother 24. I'm Dave Mader, joined with Jaemeel Robinson, as we're here to cover this tonight. Apologies, as we're streaming live here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might listen to us in the audio version. Sorry for the late night. I didn't realize that this was also on CBS at 8:30. In Canada, I always catch it on Global. And Global didn't show it till 10 tonight because of the Country Music Awards. It's an honest mistake.
TV Guide.
Well, I used the TV Guide, but Global comes before CBS in the listings, and I was like, oh, it's at 10, so I guess we'll be on at 11. Oh well. But by the time I realized that it wasn't it, well, no, I did. I couldn't find it at 8, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be late now. So,
but if you looked at the guide, you would have seen 8:30. That's okay. Okay.
I should have kept scrolling down. You know, I should have done some more. I should have been a little bit more diligent with my investigations. I think is definitely.
I'm just saying, Mary would be very disappointed that you didn't take her words to heart.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. She did tell us, but Jeff also didn't know.
I know,
and he's not even here.
Well, he has to go to sleep. He has a lot that he's dealing with right now, so I understand.
He has a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. He does. Amanda does more of the work, just to be fair. But anyway, we're good.
Okay.
I know he does. He chips in. It's okay. All right, what are we gonna do? Week 10 nominations, Jaemeel. Let's talk about this. Big Brother 24. What episode number are we on? 29. Of this season. There's still 3 weeks to go or 2 weeks to go for 5 people left in this game. Somehow, some way. I'm still trying to figure that out. Because, I get that you got to go through this week, but really, should be over the week after that, I feel like, when you're down to this few people. But we see the aftermath of the double eviction. A lot of this episode was focused on that. What we didn't get to see, I thought there was some interesting things in what we didn't get to see here. Michael scrambling, how Monty went about things here in this thing, how Michael went about campaigning in the episode. Anything stand out for you?
No, I thought for the most part we were just seeing what was already kind of planned as just in case coming to fruition. So with us, being observer of all the cards on the table, we would know that Turner wasn't necessarily on board at the jump regarding Michael's eviction.
Right.
And more of that from the TV side seems to go on to Monty's resume more than anything else. What we didn't see was Monty being hesitant about it and Taylor pushing for it, as I mentioned previously in a spoiler section.
On Thursday, you mentioned this? I must have forgot.
I believe I mentioned it on Wednesday. Briefly on Wednesday.
Well, yeah, they've been pushing for it, but it seems like that reading Turner on Thursday night, I think we kind of all felt like, I think it seems like Turner was with the gentleman's agreement until Monty said, we got to go for it. And even Monty on the surface was fine with it because he was fully expecting Michael to win the veto. And if and when he didn't win the veto and he won the veto, he said, this is our chance. And Turner, even though he's kind of surprised that Monty wants to do it now, he's also fine with it too, right? Mm-hmm. He's not going to fight too hard. He gets the logic of it. He's and Monty's the one who's going to have to bear most of the wrath of Michael here. Although Michael does, go at Turner, as we heard a little bit. We only heard the tail end of it on Thursday when they came back on commercial. But the part that I had to bring you back in was this.
Turner, I am disgusted.
I am disgusted, Turner. How could you? Right? Do you have any? Do you feel any differently about Michael after seeing the stuff we got to see here?
No, this is who I thought this is exactly what Michael's game was. He is an amazing comp player, and he is a mediocre social player, right? And we saw it all at play, where he was basically throwing everything at the wall to try to stay in the game. You cannot fault the man for trying, and as much as they like to poo-poo the fact that how he went about it, I think if you're that desperate, you're gonna do everything you can, and it makes other people who seemed like they were really determined to stay seem not as determined as Michael to stay in the game.
Well, what was interesting, like I listened to Sister Nino and Taryn the other day of talking about this double eviction, how Michael goes out here. And then Michael, even though he seemed to break Brittany's heart largely, he may have done her the biggest favor ever in the way that he goes out here and throws her under the bus. Not Terrence's bus specifically, but just a bus. And, and that it doesn't seem like Michael's going to campaign for Brittany and Jury after this, right? It seems like they kind of have a rift going out here, and Brittany should even lean into that, right? Because then that makes it less attractive for anybody saying, well, we got to get Brittany out because Michael's going to campaign for her and Jury, right? Because they were tight throughout the game. Now it seems like, well, maybe it's the opposite, and maybe I can beat Brittany at the end if I'm sitting next to her, right?
Very true.
But Brittany, she was like, "You went too far. You just went too far."
That was too far. He took it too far. He didn't have to do that.
Did he have to do it?
Well, I was going to ask you, was that too far? Did he have to do it? No, but I agree with him in the sense that if you feel that you are so close to winning and all you have to do is get past this, wouldn't you put all your cards on the table in that last chance to stay in?
I don't think Michael. I think he maybe would have, if he cared if Brittany's feelings were hurt, which I'm sure he didn't. And no,
maybe
I'm not saying
maybe he did, but Brittany's also a big girl, right?
Yeah, and by the end of this, she's like by the end of this episode, she in the diary room, she's like, I'm over it with Michael. I get it's just a game. Yeah. So, but in the moment, she was very hurt, and it was very emotional on live TV, and everything how it played out. I don't think anything Michael said was crossing a line. I thought more how he directed his at Turner specifically, and this obligation that you're saying to Turner that because they're both LGBT that they're supposed to keep each other safe or whatever. It's Big Brother. I think it's all fair game. You can go after each other. And despite whatever commonalities you might have.
I feel that is more Michael just being angry at the fact that Turner started the conversation with that. Yeah. Right? It's like, I'm going to vote you out. I didn't want to because, LGBT representation is like, why'd you bring that up? You're going to vote me out. You didn't need to
it might have just been like, this is my dig at you back. Yeah. I don't think it.
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely. But Michael's just sour about it, and Michael will have to, put on his big boy pants when he gets to Jury, and he'll have to deal. Turner was absolutely right.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fine. It's but it's iconic. I think it's one of the like just how Brittany is. I like Brittany on the show. I felt like Brittany's very expressive. She some of her quotes are very memorable, and just like if Michael had to go out this way, like just dumping his closest ride or die ally. I'm glad it was Brittany that was on the receiving end of it because no one would sell it better.
Yeah,
in the long term here.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you didn't have to do too far.
It was too far. He took it too far.
That's gonna be staying on the soundboard, I think, for a long time. Just I one thing that stuck out to me also was just when they were showing us the flashbacks of this double eviction, and basically Turner saying like, if we're gonna take the shot at Michael, we cannot miss. So let's just like be very clear on that. And it did surprise me a little bit that that Taylor was so. No spoilers. That was a miss cue on the hotkeys. Got like that. I thought Taylor might be a little bit more afraid, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, to play without Michael into this final group. But she's she's got her eye on the prize. She's willing to say nope. Bygones be bygones, and I appreciate everything up to this point, but I think she recognizes she was on the bottom of that final three alliance she had with Brittany and Michael, and so but I don't know if Monty's been loyal to her, to be fair, but like I don't know if Taylor really has a number one of who's left in this game, right?
No,
now?
She knows that Brittany is close with her, and that Monty's also close with her, right? And Alyssa's close with her and Brittany, right? So, with the exception of Turner, that's pretty good if you're going week to week,
right?
So,
yeah, it's an interesting final five for sure. Okay, and that's kind of what they also explain in the episode is they're having like sort of the meeting after Michael's evicted. And by the way, like just Michael's exit,
Everyone, please stay seated. I have one thing I would like to say.
The sigh at the end really sells it. When Alyssa looks, oh,
yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, and just they don't even really comment much on that, like at least on the episode.
I like the different angle that we see the door just close.
Yeah, there's different things. Yeah, we see a celebration here. Like, Taylor's obviously super thrilled. Like, I think the house is like, okay, Michael's gone. We got a shot at this. We all got a shot at this. I feel like they all were like, it felt like a long shot maybe to beat Michael. For a lot of them, he seemed like the obvious contender here, but now that it's out, I think like even Alyssa's like, well, maybe I could win. I could win out to the end. And she think and to the other people in the house, which is interesting, is that they think like Kyle will campaign for her on the jury, or other friends she has like Jasmine and certain people would be inclined to that Alyssa's a jury threat. I don't know. Maybe Indy, would she vote for Alyssa in the final two? If
Indy's gonna vote whoever she feels best about. She doesn't care about how people played. It's how she's feeling that day, and she's like, I don't like Brittany, so she's not gonna vote Brittany, right? And she may like Turner that day or what Turner is saying, and then vote for it. I think out of everyone, you're not gonna be looking for logic from Indy.
Right, but it's and I think it's also just because Indy's a wild card. I think there's other wild cards in this jury. I think Alyssa in the final two, even though she's has the least amount of a resume, if you will, and I think like people don't necessarily respect her fully, but I think she can still win or like at least come close in the vote at the end potentially, given the right circumstances. I think undeservedly so, but I think she could. I guess like some people can fail upwards sometimes, and I feel like she might be in such a position.
I think that people would have to not like the person she's sitting beside enough for her to win.
And who's that?
I don't know. That's
Is
the
it
thing.
Brittany?
No, I don't even think people hate Brittany that much.
Is it Taylor?
I don't think I think that with perspective and being outside the house where people could talk more candidly, I think Taylor won't have the issues with it, because you got to think about it. Okay, Indy might not vote for her. Jasmine's definitely going to vote for her, especially if it's spilt that Taylor refused to put up Jasmine, despite Jasmine not being a fan of Taylor all that time. Just imagine of Joseph going, we were trying to get you out like crazy, Jasmine, right? And then Joseph goes, that Taylor refused to like put you up. She said that she was not going to vote for you, and Jasmine would have to take a pause and like, maybe I was wrong about her, right? Kyle's probably going to vote for Alyssa. He would be a fool not to. Okay. Terrence is not going to vote for Taylor. All right.
Right. So an Alyssa Taylor final two, we're saying could be the closest potential for Alyssa.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so
right
too.
now we're counting 3 for Alyssa.
And I would still imagine Taylor wins in the end, but like it's going to be close.
Michael's not going to vote for Alyssa. I don't think he respects Alyssa at all.
Right.
Monty's not going to vote for Alyssa. Turner's not going to vote for Alyssa. Brittany is not going to vote for Alyssa.
Right.
So
Taylor probably still wins, but it could be close. And who knows, right? But okay, Mary Bass saying she doesn't understand how Monty talks so bad about Taylor, but he wants to work with her. Is this live? This is live feed things, of course. And like what?
Yeah, this has been a constant thing.
Right? What does he say about Taylor that's so bad?
He talks bad about Taylor with everyone, especially with Terrence. They would just drag her all the time. How she's broken and she's so bougie, and it goes on and on and on. All things that have more to do with Monty and Monty's perspective of the world versus what Taylor has done, right? But at the end of the day, Taylor has been extremely forthcoming in terms of information, and therefore Monty, at the very least, can trust what she's saying.
Yeah, because I have Monty in the draft, and I've been mostly like, okay, Monty's been sort of a sleeper in this in this game. He's been present, he's been in the major alliances and everything else, and he's played a pretty safe, boring game for the most part until he wins his veto, gets this great move here. But the one thing that seems to be the negative thing about him is he's a little bit misogynistic, at least a little bit, and his thing with Taylor is kind of whatever.
I don't think that's going to impact his jury situation.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, in terms of rootability for Monty overall as a player. I got him in the draft. Like
at this point, what are you going to do?
He won this HOH tonight. Look, he's coming alive here in this game. Yeah. He could be the winner of this game.
Yep. I can't wait to share some details with you about.
About spoilers. Well, we'll get there. There's not that much more to cover here, but like with this episode, I was like, okay, well, why not Monty? He reminded me of Tashawn and how Tashawn played a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of a quieter game until he comes alive here in this final 5 here, cuts an ally, and then can maybe ride this out to the end here, right?
Yeah, so. Just a couple. He's just a couple victories away from. Guarantee himself final 2.
Yeah, the sleeper.
3 victories away.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like I feel like he's got a chance here. I think like Turner, has probably got some competing with some competitions, but they see on the surface at least Turner and Monty are working together. And whether they get out a Brittany this week or Alyssa this week, it's maybe there'll be something else. I know there's a veto to spoil and things like that, but
doesn't it make more sense regardless of personal feelings aside? Taylor should be the person that goes home.
Taylor should be the person that goes home.
If Monty and Turner are like, okay, we're going to be final 2, it makes more sense for Taylor to go home, no? If you're worried about comp wins.
Yeah, like I feel like Turner is more of a target here, and Monty, in theory could target. I mean, he's kind of open to that in the episode. He says that as much, right?
But I mean that Taylor should be the one that they should be focusing on. Regardless of how I feel about which direction either of them should go.
Oh, if you're talking from Monty and Turner's perspective
Yes.
of the three girls, which one should they target the most? And yeah, like I think Taylor has the biggest resume of those three. She's been HOH. She
Mhm.
was her and Brittany both part of the leftovers, so they can both kind of hang their hat on that, I guess. Outside of that,
Taylor's been on the block 4 times to survive.
Brittany's been
has
on the
only
block quite a bit.
Only twice,
Three
times.
Every time Turner's HOH, right? As she reminds us in this episode, right?
Turner has done nothing but cause me pain in this game.
Nothing but pain in this game. Speaking of pain, Jaemeel, what did you think of this this competition, the HOH competition?
I liked it a lot. I liked it,
liked it
very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a horror movie. They had to barricade themselves in. It's going through the dark here. I just thought it was a little bit long in the episode, but
I think they didn't have much to draw upon because timeline wise, this that was played about I think an hour after the eviction.
right.
Like they had an hour to decompress, and then they were already preparing for HOH. So like 1 hour after the double eviction, right?
Yeah. But like they could edit these things to make it look like, because like Taylor's segment, I didn't realize she was gonna max out at an hour. The others were gonna be like
she technically didn't max out an hour.
What happened? She like just
She didn't complete
scared?
yeah, literally she had a panic attack, and she had to be in the DR to be talked down. She was not in a good place.
Oh.
So the story behind that is she had a traumatic event occur when she was a lot younger. A friend of hers, I believe, was murdered, and it has stuck with her, and that was very triggering for her, and she could not handle it, and she could not complete the thing. She had to leave.
Yikes. Oh man.
But that's how things go. If there was snakes in this competition and someone's deathly afraid of snakes, what are you gonna do? Right?
What if you saw snakes on a plane and that even made you more afraid of them, right? And the competition was set on an airplane. It could even be worse. The only thing I'll say about this competition too was that I liked how they had the doors. They were showing us the doors getting sort of barricaded up. But other than that, you're just watching people go around in black and white green screen sort of thing. Were you surprised that the times were so close between Monty and Brittany?
No, this is the type of competition where it's not strength or intelligence. It's instincts and luck for the most part. Even like Alyssa had some trouble, but if things broke a certain way, she could have knocked a whole bunch of time off of her time and been a lot closer too. So who knows?
Yeah, here it is. 1524 to 1515. Alyssa,
she lost so much time. Well, didn't she lose so much time looking for the alarm?
Yeah, because she finished it in like she said she wasted at least 10 minutes looking for just to hit the final buzzer because she didn't realize she didn't count how many doors she had barricaded.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she was like, have I done them all? Okay, yes, I've done them all. Then she had to find the buzzer. And like, so presumably this was closer than we even think,
Yeah.
And Alyssa HOH this week would have been really interesting to see.
Yeah, that would have been.
I think also
imagine Jury House just like, what Alyssa?
Would you have been more pleased though if Brittany had been the HOH, like for in terms of just the story of the season and making it interesting, or do you think that Monty being the next HOH is
Alyssa would have been the more interesting story, right? Because we don't know what she'll do with power, right? We've never seen that occur. Right, we've seen Taylor, and we've
seen Taylor, and we've seen Monty's been HOH before, right? It feels like a long time ago.
Turner, Brittany hasn't, but Brittany was like the hand of the king,
right? She was involved heavily in HOH discussions and whatever. Hand of the king would be a good way to describe Brittany. And then like Alyssa's like, whatever you want, like the past is the past, and you can put me up, it's fine.
The past is the past. Now it's time to regroup and charge forward to the end of this game.
Victim noises.
Victim noises. Alyssa, woo, Florida, all those things.
We got a cider reference again.
Cider references. Yeah, the last time Alyssa had a cider, things got crazy. Yeah, like I don't know, like in terms of her gameplay, it leaves a lot to be desired. But I think that she's an interesting like potential here to see what happens at the end.
She can play dead very well.
I think the only thing else worth talking about in the episode itself was just the conversations between Brittany and Monty, which really went nowhere. Where Monty's like, I don't trust her. She's just telling me what I want to hear. And Brittany's struggling to find her way without Michael now. I think Michael, like the hand of the king without a king, is just a hand. I guess I don't know where my metaphor is going, but yeah, like, do you see? Like, I think like that's maybe the more nebulous part of this final five. I'm like, I like Brittany as a character on the show, and I think she's had an interesting path in this game. But I feel like she's only gonna like break down from here. Jaemeel, I feel like I don't know if she's going to be able to like figure this out, because I feel like she's all over the place emotionally.
I think that the dangerous thing about Brittany is her story, which is we've seen it a whole bunch of times where this person who is the right-hand man of the main person, main person gets voted out, and then they're left on their own, and they pull themselves by their bootstraps and they make it to the end, right? By some miracle of skill and ingenuity.
Right.
And that's a really great story to tell a jury. So she looks like she's in a bad position, but she set herself up to write a fantastic fairy tale ending.
I think it could go either way. Yeah, I think that the position she's in is not that bad, and I feel like she easily could work her way out of it. She has the skills and everything else there, but like reading her emotionally, since with this way Michael goes out, where she's angry at him in this episode, and by the end she wants to win it for Michael and avenge his spirit, and they're gonna be besties after this game. And like I was like, and that's all fine too, but I just think that like she's. The way she's going up to Turner in the episode and saying like, I got no game, my game's blown up, blah blah blah, like just dust yourself off, forget about it all, and start fresh. And like, if she can do that, I think she's got a great chance here, to do something in the home stretch.
We'll see, won't we?
We'll see. I guess I'm pausing just to kind of see where does this go from here. Okay, well, and I guess you'll get me some of that information. The actual noms themselves,
which is pretty straightforward. Like, the issue with what we see in this episode is that as I mentioned when the HOH was, Vito was, I think, Saturday morning. Like that early. So
that's sooner than normal. I mean, usually been this morning, right? Yeah.
So Friday was, you have your HOH at the beginning of the day, right? Because of when it was, done, right? An hour after thing. They had talks, which we saw, and then nominations was later that afternoon. All right, on Friday evening, and then Saturday morning is Veto,
which is where this episode ends. So the Veto on Wednesday episode is gonna pick up from Saturday. So by the time we watch that on Wednesday, there will been 4 days that have gone by.
It'll be pretty much set at that time.
Yeah, right. And then the feeds will cut at some point, right? When they get down to final three.
I think the feeds cut when it goes to when they start the final HOH, the final three HOH,
the first part.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Alyssa and Brittany end up on the block here, but there's maybe. We'll see. Maybe Turner gets backdoored. Not even backdoored. He's still playing the Veto anyway. Well, but like
Monty kind of goes, well, if you win Taylor, if you win, Veto, and you take off Brittany or Alyssa, I'm not gonna have any other choice but put, Turner up. No blood on my hands, kind of deal. Which is like such a nonchalant way. Like, hopefully you don't say that too consistently, because where's your agency? Right? Don't you want to be partly involved with Turner getting out, even if like you didn't want Turner to go out?
Yeah, you're right, because I think like it's maybe like I want to be under the radar about a move is something you can do in the earlier stages of the game, but at this point you kind of want to be seen.
Yeah. So if someone puts you in a position, you own that position, but like be Turner, I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do. Turner, you're gone. It's like when you have conversation with Turner, it's like, look, I had conversation with Taylor. Taylor knew that this was the one path for her to get thing out. I try my best to protect you, but it is what it is. I told her this is what she needs to do. She did it. Sorry, you're gone. Right? It seems a little bit less all the powers in Taylor's hands, as opposed to you planned it with Taylor. Right? Same thing. You tell Taylor if the situations were reversed and Turner takes Brittany off, and that means Taylor needs to go on, and he's like, hey, Taylor, I gave you a fair chance. I kept you off the block. Right? Me and Turner talked about it, and the decision was, if you won, you're gone. You're gone. Sorry about that. Like it just feels different, as opposed to no blood on my hand. I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, Monty's like, I don't know, because he wants all the votes and he wants to, I think that's almost like playing greedy is, I guess, the way I would kind of boil that down to.
But you want to be greedy in terms of ownership. If people
not in terms of like deflecting the blame, because ultimately the game was about that anyway, and ultimately that's what the jury is going to evaluate, or at least when Dr. Will comes in to tell you how you're supposed to vote, and Indy goes, "Who is this guy?" Like it will be very confusing for them all, right? Anyway, so Jaemeel, let's get into the spoiler section. Let's find out because there's a lot, even since Saturday. You're saying the veto was played. This is late Sunday, almost Monday. So there's quite a bit probably made to get into. Almost 48 hours of content. If you don't want to know, get out of here now. Come back Wednesday. They'll play the episode and we'll talk about what they show us. Also Thursday, the eviction. As we get down, we'll be down to final 4 finally, and basically 2 more weeks, but it's actually 3 left in this game. Okay, let's get into the spoilers. Don't know? Drop it now.
Alrighty, so okay. Who do you think won veto?
I think Monty won the veto.
Okay, I will tell you you're incorrect, because Monty never even got to play the veto. He was disqualified. Early morning veto. So they woke up the contestants on Saturday morning and told them they had a short period of time to get ready to go and play the veto. Monty took too long and he was automatically disqualified.
Wow. They're not playing around there those early morning. They're playing the trumpet. Let's go, Monty.
And the winner of the veto was Brittany. And when she won, she went, "This is for
That
you."
was too far. You
Oh,
took
no.
it too
This
far.
is for you, Michael. Like
She actually
this
did
is for
say it.
you, Michael. Like
She actually did say it.
She did say it?
She
This
did
is for
say it.
you, Michael.
So you're gonna get another version of that.
It's okay, Brittany. You don't have to do anything for Michael. But, you do it for yourself.
Oh,
Right. Okay, so Brittany wins the veto. Okay, so she's taking herself down.
Yep.
And now...
Turner, you have Monty having a decision. It's like,
Does he put up Taylor or does he put
Or
up Turner?
Turner.
And assuming he would do the smart thing, put Turner up, then who votes? Who? Well, you're saying he doesn't?
he put Taylor up.
Oh, Monty, what are you
He put
doing?
Taylor up.
What are you doing, Monty?
Yes. So
You got to sleep in. It wasn't like you were too tired to make the right decision here.
it's like Turner will save you. Turner will vote for you, and therefore you can trust Turner for this
That's
final
his
vote.
rationale. That's what he thinks.
That's the thought process.
No, okay, no. I thought that Monty. I was saying you were like Tashawn, but Monty is more like Jedson in this situation, and he's going to not win because he thinks it's all about loyalty to his bros, and it's not. You gotta be like Tashawn. You gotta be like, no, man, it's all about winning in the end.
He is like, if he doesn't win HOH, like, there's way too much.
Well, yeah, if Turner doesn't win HOH, like what then?
Not even
right?
Turner. Like HOH next week is just important thing.
Okay, but who? So you're saying that Taylor went up then against Alyssa then in this. So now, okay, then who? And Brittany and Turner vote with only Monty voting if they split the votes. So what's the consensus between?
Which chances are they not?
Which chances are they not?
They're probably going to send Alyssa home.
Alyssa home.
This is going to be a straightforward week.
Is that? But I think that's not the smart move. The smart move is to get rid of Taylor.
It's not moving to get rid of Taylor.
Yeah, but that's not. But that won't happen because of these other reasons, which I think are exaggerated. That Alyssa reasons.
Be careful when you said reasons nowadays.
Yeah, no, but like I get Alyssa might get a few votes, but like to win out, like to call her a jury threat compared to Taylor, I think is incorrect. And I think that, well, we'll see how it plays out as they really get to think about this, as Thursday approaches. But are they making the right call? But I get.
So before Turner went up, before Taylor went up, Taylor has been doing a lot of good work in terms of communication with Monty, and also with Turner, and told Turner that she's willing to let Brittany go. So before Brittany was able to take herself down, Taylor was telling Turner that she was going to vote Brittany out. So Turner has been slowly but surely is like, hey, maybe I can trust Taylor a little bit, so we'll see. But I think that the two guys are in they're in for trouble if they don't win that veto next week.
Yeah, but I think Taylor can beat them in certain things.
It just depends on what the situation is.
What's Alyssa gonna win?
The stopwatch challenge?
Drinking cider and going to the beach?
The stopwatch challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be as quick as possible.
Although she came closer tonight than we thought, but I think she's anyway. All right. Well, interesting. Okay, so a straightforward week potentially, but we're gonna go through the motions, of course, and head into Thursday. Anything else from the spoilers that we should know?
Nothing really. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty tame.
Quiet. It's only 5 people left in the house, so there's only so much that can happen at this point. Okay, well, if that's it, then we can probably sign off. It's almost midnight, so let's call it a night and call it a week, or I guess the beginning of this week 10 that we're in now, Jaemeel, of this season. Wow, it feels like a long time ago we started. It was actually 10 weeks ago.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
That's like almost a quarter of the year. That's more than it's more than a quarter of the year, right? So anyway, thanks for being with us tonight. We'll be back Wednesday and Thursday, as mentioned. Check out also our Star Trek channel, Live Long in Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of stuff over there. Monday nights, Star Trek Enterprise rewatch. Tuesday nights, Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatch. We're also covering Lower Decks right now, which is in its 3rd season. We got Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy on the horizon. We've talked about Strange New Worlds, Discovery, all the new Star Trek shows. And we have one called Star Trek Radio Theater that we do, sporadically. They're kind of like these, we do like script reads of the whole episodes of Star Trek, and then we do we edit it down and create like a little audio drama sort of thing. So coming up next Saturday, September 17th, 2022, we're doing the Star Trek original series episode called The Way to Eden, which is also known as the Space Hippies episode, where a bunch of musical playing hippies show up and cause great distress to Captain Kirk. and the rest of the crew. It was the 60s when they made this, and the hippies were a bit of a controversy at the time, and the episode really reflects that. So we got some great guest stars coming in, including Dave Pugsley. And we got Chris Murphy for the first time ever. Davin Skellhorn's going to be playing music and singing it up as Adam. So it's going to be a great one. I'm really looking forward to this one. Of course, all the rest of the Live Long and podcast players coming in. Save for Jeff, who's going on his honeymoon in the near future. What else, Jaemeel? And Trivial Debates. The morning after that, we have our third channel, Trivial Debates, a monthly show. We argue movies, TV, sports, and more. We got Davin Skellhorn in a musical themed episode the day after he does a musical radio theater. This is gonna be. We'll see how this goes. We got Chris Seymour, Eamon Mader, and Tom Mott Tyrell competing. Jaemeel,
This is going to be very interesting.
This will be an interesting mix, I think. How will Davin navigate this field?
This is going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, coming up. And also check out Eamon's podcast, Let's Talk About Fighting Games, under his alias Sam Jerka. There's also the Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. Davin's podcast, including X-Rated and Locutors of Trek, which is also becoming Live Long, for the record. But that's, we're officially relaunching in the new year. If you got to the end here, that's a little Easter egg for you. All right. Jaemeel, is there anything else?
That's it. That's all. Baby goes to sleep.
Baby goes to sleep, and we're saying good night for the evening. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time. All right. Not Live Long on podcast. It's a Big Brother. Okay, take care.
I know Michael, Turner, and myself made a deal to watch after each other throughout the rest of this game, but there's really never going to be an opportunity to take a shot at Michael. So